Have you ever seen a movie and you thought, whoa, I didn't even know they could make movies like this? Well, that was a thought that I had when I first saw the movie John Wick. The first time I saw this movie, I walked into the theater thinking I was just going to see another kind of mediocre action movie. But, it had Keanu Reeves in it. And, we all love Keanu Reeves. And so I decided I'd go and see it. And what I got was something incredible. What I experienced in that theater was pure joy and entertainment. There are only a few action movies that can actually make me anxiously await the next scene and keep me on the edge of my seat throughout the whole movie. John Wick is the first movie in what is now the John Wick quadrilogy, okay? And John Wick 4 just came out, and from what I've heard, it's incredible. I haven't seen it yet, but, I'm excited to see that one. Now, I thought that I would make a video about the humble and violent beginnings of the Baba Yaga, John Wick. So in this video, I really want to break down the story and talk about a lot of the different aspects of the movie that I really enjoyed and that I found the most engaging and interesting. And I want to talk about why this movie is so awesome. Now, this movie has been out like 10 years, so most of you should have seen this by now. But for those of you who haven't, spoilers, obviously. My name is Matt, and this is Understanding Cinema. John Wick redefined the action genre when it was released in 2014. What makes this film stand out is not just the pulse-pounding action sequences, but the rich thematic depth that lies beneath the surface, as well as the incredibly pleasing visual aesthetic. In this video, we'll take a closer look at how John Wick explores the themes of grief and vengeance through its unique blend of action, style, and symbolism, as well as discuss the visual imagery and how it connects to creating an amazing film. But first, a little recap. The film follows retired hitman John Wick, who is grieving after the recent death of his wife. Later, he is accosted by a group of Russian gangsters at a gas station. The gangsters break into his home, beat him up, and kill his beloved puppy, which was a final gift from his wife. John learns that the gangsters are led by Vigo Tarasov, a Russian mafia boss and former employer of John. After discovering that Vigo's son, Yosef, was responsible for the attack at his home, John seeks revenge and is propelled back into his old life as a hitman. Despite being warned by his old friend Winston, the owner of the Continental Hotel, to avoid taking revenge and violating the criminal underworld's strict rules, John continues his mission to kill Yosef and all those who stand in his way. Vigo responds by placing a $2 million bounty on John's head, and he must use all of his skills and resources to survive the onslaught of assassins coming after him. The film is known for its intense and stylish action sequences, including gunfights, hand-to-hand combat, and car chases. Ultimately, John exacts his revenge on Yosef and Vigo, but not without consequences that leave him contemplating his future in the dangerous and violent culture of the criminal underworld. John Wick is a character defined by his grief. The film opens with him grieving over the loss of his wife, Helen, who died of an undisclosed illness. The first scene of the film is of John sitting alone, staring at a video on his phone of happier times with his wife, setting the tone for the rest of the film. From the start, we see that John is a man consumed by sadness and loss. The film uses visual and auditory cues to emphasize John's emotional state. The scenes set in John's home are desaturated and bleak, reflecting his emotional state. But John's grief isn't just a plot device to motivate his revenge. It's a central theme of the film, one that's explored in depth. John's grief is what sets him apart from the typical action hero. He's not just a killing machine who can shrug off emotional trauma. He's a human who's been deeply wounded. The film also explores how John copes with his grief. He's a man of routine, and routines serve as a way to keep his grief at bay. He meticulously cares for his car and his dog, and he has a basement full of memories of his wife. These routines are a way for him to hold on to the past and keep his wife's memory alive. John's grief is also what drives him to come out of retirement and seek revenge. His grief is compounded by the loss of his dog, the last gift from his wife. The dog represents his connection to her, and its death is the final straw that pushes him over the edge. John's grief motivates him to act and to try to find some sense of justice in a world that's been cruel to him. The film establishes John's mental state quite early on. It sets up the emotional stakes for his journey of vengeance. By exploring John's grief in such depth, The movie sets itself apart from other typical action movie franchises, and it creates a character that we love and relate to, even if he's a hitman. After his car is stolen and his beloved dog is killed by Yosef Tarasov, John Wick comes out of retirement to seek vengeance. In the scene where John discovers that his car has been stolen and his dog killed, the film uses a close-up shot of John's face to show his anguish and pain. This shot is accompanied by a haunting and mournful score that heightens the emotional impact of the scene. John's quest for revenge takes him to the Russian mob's nightclub, where he takes out dozens of armed guards in a stunning display of gun fu. But while the action is thrilling, it's also driven by John's emotional journey. He's not just killing bad guys for the sake of it. He's seeking justice for the people who took everything from him. This is exemplified in the scene where John confronts Yosef's father, Vigo. The camera work in this scene is particularly effective. The shot puts the audience in the same emotional space as John, emphasizing the weight of the moment.
But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. So you can either hand over your son, or you can die screaming alongside him!
And the final confrontation between John and Vigo is one of the film's most emotionally charged moments. The fight takes place next to a rain-soaked helipad, adding to the intensity of the scene. What's interesting about this sequence is that it's not just a physical fight, it's also a battle of will. John, determined to see his mission through, kills Vigo. And one of my favorite lines in this whole movie is Vigo's, when he says,
"Be seeing you, John."
I think this means that in the world that John exists in, things don't just disappear. Things can't just stay dead. John can't just stay in retirement. And when Vigo says, "Be seeing you, John," he's not saying that he'll actually see him again, but rather, John has been pulled back into the criminal underworld. And as Vigo said earlier in the movie,
"This life follows you, clings to you, infecting everyone comes close to you. We are cursed, you and I."
On that, we agree.
and that John will never be able to escape, no matter what he does. Through the unique blend of action and emotion, John Wick's second act explores the idea of vengeance as a means to achieving peace and closure. It subverts the typical action movie trope of mindless violence, but in so doing it creates its own trope of the man scorned by the world, wanting to get revenge. John Wick is not a mindless action movie, but a thoughtful exploration of themes such as grief and vengeance. By grounding the action in John's emotional journey, the film subverts the typical action movie tropes and creates a deeper connection between the audience and the characters. The use of symbolism and visual cues adds to the film's richness and depth and elevates it beyond just another shoot-'em-up movie. Chad Stahelski's direction and Keanu Reeves' performance as John Wick make for a winning combination that revitalized the action genre and created a new icon in modern cinema. The cinematography in this film is on another level. It's so beautiful, but at the same time, it reflects a lot of the emotions that John goes through and feels throughout the movie. And the use of color in the lighting is a major component of the film's visual style. The cinematographer Jonathan Sela uses a vibrant color palette of blues, greens, and reds to create a beautiful, immersive, and stylized world. The color and the lighting used throughout the movie is meant to reflect the emotional state of the characters, as well as the overall tone of the movie. One of the most prominent uses of color in the film is in the neon lighting, which is used to great effect in the club scenes. The neon lights create a surreal and almost dreamlike atmosphere, with characters bathed in various colors. The use of neon lighting in these scenes is significant because it reflects the energy and excitement of the environment. The club is meant to be a place where the characters can let loose and forget about their problems for a while. It is a safe place for Yosef, and that is what makes John's infiltration that much more exciting for us as the audience. And the neon lighting contributes to this atmosphere, making it almost feel like a fantasy world. Blue is often associated with feelings of sadness, melancholy, or pain, and it's used frequently throughout this film to reflect the characters' emotional states. For example, in the scene when John Wick is sitting alone in his empty house, the lighting is a muted blue. This lighting choice helps convey the sense of isolation and loneliness that John is feeling. During the scene when John destroys the floor in his basement in order to retrieve his old Hitman gear, the lighting is a dark grayish blue. John is in pain and doesn't want to do this, but feels an obligation to avenge his wife's death. His depression and internal struggle is reflected throughout most of the film. Red is also a prominent color throughout the film, often used in conjunction with violence or danger. The use of red lighting in the film is especially effective in the scenes where John Wick is in the midst of a fight. The red lighting reflects the intensity and violence of the action and creates a sense of danger and urgency. Now, I love the way that this movie uses its color. Using blue as a way to reflect John's internal struggle and emotional state, while also having reds emphasize the danger and the intensity of some of the action sequences it's just genius. And personally, I love it. I'm a major fan of the way this film, and especially the following films, use color to really drive home the emotional state, as well as the underlying feeling that we should be having during these scenes. Another visual element that I really love in this movie is the shot compositions. One of the most prominent uses of shot composition throughout the film is the use of wide shots during action sequences. These wide shots allow the audience to see the full scope of the action and appreciate the skill and choreography of the fight scenes. One example of this is the scene where John Wick takes on the group of assassins in his home. The wide shots show John taking on multiple attackers at once, allowing the audience to see the full extent of his fighting abilities. It gives the audience a sense of being an observer of the action, rather than a participant. I also really love the way that this film uses close-up shots, especially when dealing with intense scenes that we as the audience get kind of sucked into the characters, especially during this scene specifically. I love this scene where John is being held by Vigo. John starts to monologue with his famous line saying,
"People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back."
You can feel the tenacity and anger in his voice as he says this. The shot holding on John's face is really what helps us relate to him. We feel his anger. We can see it in his mouth and in his eyes and his facial expressions. We feel the rage that he feels here. Another example is during the scene when John's former friend Marcus is killed. The close-up shots of John's face emphasize the emotional impact it has on him. The shot shows the pain and regret on his face, making the scene more poignant and impactful. Another important aspect here is the use of symmetry and balance. The use of symmetrical shots during action sequences create a sense of order and balance, making the scene more visually striking. One example of this is in the scene when John takes on a group of Vigo's henchmen in the nightclub. The symmetrical shots of John in the center of the frame, surrounded by his enemies, creates a sense of balance and order amidst the chaos of the fight. This reflects the control that John has over the situation. While there might be hundreds more bad guys, John is the one with all the power. All of these shot types and techniques work together to build a dynamic and engaging visual style that complements a lot of the action going on in the film. The last thing I wanted to talk about is how the film creates its world. While the sequels dive deeper into the criminal underworld that John Wick lives in, the first one sets it up so beautifully. At the heart of the world building in John Wick is the Continental Hotel, a safe haven for assassins that serves as the hub of the film's universe. The Continental is more than just a place to sleep and eat. It's a sanctuary where assassins can conduct business without fear of retaliation, and where they can seek refuge from the outside world. The hotel's manager, Winston, is the gatekeeper of this world, enforcing the rules and maintaining order. The film's world building also includes various codes and rituals that govern the behavior of the assassins. For example, the rules of the Continental forbid assassins from conducting business on its premises, and breaking this rule carries severe consequences. These rules add depth and complexity to the world, and create a sense of tension and intrigue around the characters' actions. The film's use of language and terminology also adds to the world. The characters use specific terms and phrases that are unique to their world, such as excommunicado, a state of being banned from the Continental and all its resources, and dinner reservations, a code phrase for cleaning up after an assassin. These terms and phrases create a sense of immersion and authenticity, making the world of John Wick feel like a distinct and fully realized universe. The world in John Wick is enhanced by the film's visual style. The use of color and lighting and composition creates a distinctive and immersive atmosphere, with a focus on stylish and elegant locations. The film's art direction and set design also contribute to the world building, creating a sense of luxury and sophistication that contrasts with the brutal violence of the action scenes. The Continental Hotel, coins, rules, codes, and language creates a complex and fascinating universe that draws the audience in. By immersing the audience in this world, the film elevates itself beyond a simple action movie. It creates a rich and fully realized universe that captures the imagination of viewers around the world. At the end of the day, John Wick is just an incredible movie. It's got everything. I mean, you got great world building, an engaging story, awesome action sequences, and like some of the prettiest cinematography you'll ever see. The use of color, lighting, and composition is just flawless. It creates a unique atmosphere that draws the audience in and keeps us immersed in the world. The luxurious and stylish setting, it's just awesome to look at, you know? It just looks great. It's so interesting to have such beautiful cinematography be contrasted by the violence, be contrasted by the intensity of some of these scenes. And the choreography is just incredible. The fight sequences are some of the most entertaining gunplay I've ever seen ever. I mean, have you seen Keanu Reeves at the range when he's practicing? Dude is literally like, like, that's sick. And this movie has it all in it. The way the camera flows in and out of these action sequences is incredible. It really feels like Keanu Reeves isn't just playing his character. It really feels like Keanu is just flowing through these scenes, like a dancer. He's just like moving with the scene, and the camera is moving with him, which really makes us feel like we're a part of his story. And I really love that. But it's not all flash and no substance. The story here is really, really, really good. I mean, the basic plot is a little basic, you know, guy's dog gets killed. Oh man, you know, like that sucks. Guy then wants to take revenge on the whole planet. Listen, it's pretty entertaining, let's be honest. This film has an interesting story, engaging characters, and overall just really, really good entertainment value. It's so much fun watching these movies. Like, not only this one, but all of the sequels, they all give you the exact same feeling of you're watching this and you're just like, this is awesome. That's how movies should feel, man. You should watch a movie and you should be like, this is incredible. I love this. Everybody's always looking for movies that have that thing, the thing that just like keeps you in them. And it draws you in, and it immerses you. It makes you feel like you're part of the world. And this movie, it's got it. This movie's got it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This one was a really fun video because I love the John Wick movies. They're some of my favorite action movies I've ever seen, ever. And if you want me to do a video on some of the sequels, I will. Okay, I'll do it. All right, I want to do them, but if you want me to do them, then that makes it more likely that I'll do them, okay? So let me know in the comments if you really want me to make videos about the sequels. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite aspect of this movie is. Whether it was the story, the characters, the visual imagery, whatever. Let me know. I want to hear what you guys think because I'm really curious and I love engaging with you guys. Also, literally like 98% of you guys are unsubscribed. What's the deal? Let's make it 80-20. We can work from there, move it up to 50-50, and eventually we can make our way up to a 90-10 split. How does that sound, okay? That sounds pretty good to me. What do you guys say? Deal? 90 of you sub, 10% unsub? That sounds like a good deal to me. Also, we just hit like 350 subs. That's insane. Like, you guys are going ham, and I love it. Listen, I'm all for it. You guys keep doing what you want to do. What did I say in the last couple of videos? I said, you and me, we're working together, all right? You and me, we're on the path. We're walking, all right? We're doing this together. We're taking the journey together, all right? And I'm here for you to provide this super sick content about movies that I love. I'm going to keep doing them no matter what, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, if you're interested in other videos like this, kind of film essay style videos, I recommend checking out the one I just did on Everything Everywhere All at Once. It took me forever to make, so go check it out. It's a good one, trust me. Anyways, thanks for watching. You guys are the best. I'll catch you next week. My name is Matt, and this is Understanding Cinema. Peace!